beloved people of God, faithful leaders, welcome to Elder Training. This is the first of 4 videos in which we will explore together what it means to be Presbyterian and what it means to lead as an elder in a Presbyterian church today. I hope you find these videos helpful. Note that I will also refer at various points to a packet, the link for which is in the description of this video. So whenever I say page 1 in your packet, make sure you have that open or have it printed ahead of time. It's just a few pages to make sure that you can see what I'm referencing. With that, let us begin. Welcome to part 1, Presbyterian structures and the theology behind them. We as Presbyterians hold in tension 2 fundamental beliefs about people. We are all messed up somehow, but each of us also has incredible gifts given by God in baptism for the good of the church and the world. This is why the Presbyterian church is structured and governed the way it is. There are 3 basic models for church governance in the Western church today. The first one is the Roman Catholic model, which is where there's one person at each level of the church who oversees everyone below them. At the congregational level, this is the priest. That person is responsible for the care, nurture, and governance of the congregation. There may be councils or boards that provide input, but they can't really overrule the priest. Then there are bishops who oversee a group of priests and their congregations, and then archbishops and cardinals, and so on and so forth. This model concentrates a lot of power in one place, but because of its hierarchy, it's not entirely without checks and balances. When you have good people who are trying to make decisions in those leadership roles, then it can work just fine. But as the Protestant Reformation and several smaller reformations after that have showed, it can also result in widespread corruption. The second model, the congregational model, takes the exact opposite approach. There is no hierarchy, there is no rule that can be enforced from above, and power is vested instead in a large group of people, the congregation. And the congregation votes on every major decision. This is how a number of Baptist, non-denominational, and, you guessed it, congregational churches work. These churches might be loosely affiliated with a network or denomination or theological family, but there's really no outside enforcement of any rules or theological principles. I'm not going to lie, this is the model that makes me the most nervous. Does it work sometimes? I'm sure it does. But it also leaves the door wide open for one charismatic personality to come in and rule the church without any oversight. The final model is the Presbyterian model, which takes a middle ground between absolute hierarchy and none whatsoever. Presbyterians are both defined and connected in that local churches have power over their own governance via the session, which is always elected from within the church. But we are also a connectional church in that we have sister congregations all over our region, and we come together via the presbytery to make decisions that affect all of us. The presbytery also has some limited power to step in and correct or encourage if something goes terribly wrong. That never happens in churches, right? In the same way, we come together with our sister churches across the country every 2 years for a general assembly, where we make decisions about the things that affect all of us. This is where we receive some theological guidance, make grand statements about how we will engage in the world, and decide how we will govern ourselves. Power doesn't flow up or down in this model. It's rather a conversation that goes outward and comes back in. This lines up really well with our theology because we never give absolute power to one person. We know everyone will fail sometimes, but we also trust that God is at work within us and among us when we gather in our councils at each level.